What's up, everyone? Welcome into the Cannonballs podcast. As always, I'm one of your hosts, Dane Cannon. Co-hosting with me today is
E.T. Fun Hum. Your boy Jake Bulls on the mic, stuffy as heck. But I'm here.
Jake's still dealing with this cold. For those of you who listen to our Week 1 takeaways and Week 1 recap of the NFL, Jake was sick in that one because we're recording in the same night, so he's going to be sick still. We're just releasing these on different dates. So today we're going to be going over power rankings. This is going to be updated after Week 1. We gave our power rankings heading into Week 1, and there's going to be a lot of change, a lot of shifting around after Week 1. Obviously, this isn't going to be a record prediction. We're not saying which teams are going to make playoffs or which teams are going to win the division or Super Bowl or anything like that. This is just based off of Week 1, where we think the teams place as of right now. Obviously, if you win, you're going to go up. If you lose, you're going to go down. If you win, you can sometimes go down just based off of how you perform, which I think there might be a couple teams in here. Jake, are you ready?
Yes, real quick. We got some shit talkers about our power rankings on Instagram and on YouTube. And, this one's for you, Zach. We have a bet. So he thinks that the Patriots are going to have a better record at the end of the season over the Vikings. Me and Dane both don't think that. We think the Vikings are a lot better than the Patriots. And we both bet that if the Vikings have a better record, that he will buy us a jersey of our choice. A retro jersey.
I'll take it. Take it.
So, and then if we win, we have to buy him a retro jersey and a hat since there's two of us. So
you mean if he wins and we lose?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. So Vikings, you better do good.
And you proved us right so far. So congratulations.
Yes.
To us.
Yes. And if Mac Jones is hurt for a sustained period of time, it might
we're
play
looking a lot better. Absolutely.
Yes. Man. All right. So where do we start, Dane? Start
really
at
quick,
32?
Since you talked about the shit talkers, I also want to talk about those of you who did defend us. We do appreciate that. Mostly it happened on our Instagram reel. So thank you if you were on our side. If not, it's okay. We appreciate any kind of attention. You know, we're a small channel right now. We're trying to grow. Obviously, you haven't seen us very much, but hopefully we can change that very quickly. So,
and we welcome the shit talking because
we love debating. We love debating. Everyone's
too.
entitled to their opinion. Everyone's very passionate about their team. Everyone's biased in some certain way. So yeah, talk your smack,
sports, baby.
It's sports. We love it. Jake and I both played football. We know what it's like. So anyway, going into Week 2. So we're going to go 32-1 based off of our power rankings. So the lowest placed team going to the best placed team. So I think that there's going to be a new 32, obviously, because we previously had Chicago here. Chicago was 32 for us, and they beat San Francisco, which was a huge upset, so they can't be here anymore. For me,
dude,
I think
real quick, our bottom four all didn't lose.
I know.
Bears, Giants, Seahawks, Texans. They all didn't lose.
Yep.
We got 3 wins and a tie. So they all have to move up.
They all have to move up.
I would say
for me,
automatically
it's gotta be the Jets.
Yeah, the Jets got to be. They got to move down. I think they got smacked the most out of all these teams. Even the teams that did lose, I think they got handed that L handedly.
I agree. You know, it was a tough opener for them. You know, they had to play against Baltimore, who is a good team. But, you know, missing Zach Wilson, having Joe Flacco in there, even though Joe Flacco didn't look terrible, the team overall just didn't perform where it needed to. So, yeah, the New York Jets are going to be the new 32 for us. So, for me, Jake, the new 31.
Yeah, on this one, too. I say we can put the Bears. Because even though they got the win, it was an ugly win. Their defense played good. Their defense played really, really good. But their offense was atrocious for 3 quarters. And
you know what? I like it. I got
lucky on 2 or 3 plays, and it was just broken down plays. I think they improved because of their defense. I their offense looked pretty atrocious. I mean, they were playing the 49ers.
Okay, I agree. Let's put Chicago here. Chicago's going to be 31st. They do move up because they got the win, not by much. If they get 2 wins in a row, we might really have to check the way that we think of the Bears, because Justin Fields can make things happen.
Yes, he can. I will agree.
If that's the case, then I think that 30 should be the New York Giants. They get the win, they move up, but I don't think that they necessarily should have won the game, unfortunately, as an outside perspective. I'm sorry, Giants fans. I am impressed that you guys did get the win. What are you?
Yep. And then right here, you gotta go Falcons. Actually, no, you gotta go Jags.
Yeah,
I would go Jags.
I would probably put the Jags here. Yeah, because the Jags, they definitely made some impressive plays. Don't get me wrong. Trevor Lawrence looked better. The defense looked pretty good, but you also gave up. You guys had 2 interceptions. One of them being your first round pick, Trayvon Walker. He looked good. So I think the Jags overall looked pretty decent, but you guys did lose. The Commanders did look pretty decent as well. So you guys are starting off 0-1, so we'll put the Jags here at 29. Okay, so here, let's see.
I think I got the Lions here. The Lions or the Falcons.
I want to put the Lions here because I liked the way that Atlanta's defense and offense looked as a complete unit in the first 3 quarters.
Yes,
however,
for the first 3 quarters.
However, that's not how long a game is. It's 4 quarters long. You have to be able to finish a game. But, yeah, I would probably put Detroit here at 28. So
yeah.
Moving down a couple spots, moving down 3 spots.
We fought hard, but I think the Falcons fought harder. Or at least when they were playing good, they were playing more impressively to me, I think. Lions, they're scrappy, but... All right, so 26.
26, I think, has to be Atlanta here.
Wait, who was 27?
Or 27 Atlanta.
Yeah, so right now we got the Jets, the Bears, the Jags, the Lions, the Falcons, and now...
I would probably put Atlanta here.
Wait, I already I put them there at 27.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying, at 27, Atlanta.
Oh, okay. Sorry. 26 then. It's got to be the Texans, right?
26, I would either put Houston or New England, honestly. Because New England couldn't do anything.
Yeah, but I still can't put New England past the Texans. I mean, they still got one of the greatest of all time coaches.
That's true. That does help their team overall. Yeah. Their defense can still make plays. Offense just looked inept. So, okay, yeah. I can see that. So we'll put Houston here at 26. Houston looked good. They ended with a tie, so technically they don't have a loss on their record. Davis Mills looked pretty decent. Brandon Cooks looked pretty decent. The defense looked pretty decent. Overall, it looked pretty decent. So, good for them. However, I cannot go any further without putting New England somewhere. New England has to go here for me.
I really want to put the Cowboys down here, man. I mean, don't get me wrong. The Patriots, terrible. They look terrible. But so did the Cowboys. They look terrible. I mean, the defense did make some plays, yes. But there's only so long that the defense can... There's only so much the defense can do, especially in today's NFL where the game is catered towards offense. I mean, I'm not realistically, I'm not going to drop the Cowboys down this much, but I really want to. But no, we could put the Patriots here.
Okay,
I think they look terrible.
To put New England here. They just did not come out looking hot at all. A lot going on. I mean, they typically do have a harder time playing in Miami. Bill Belichick apparently can't beat Tua for whatever the reason. But yeah, just New England just overall didn't look that great. Defense looked okay. Offense just looked inept. You don't have the best receiving core. Offensive line questionable here and there. Running game was kind of eh. And then Mac Jones is injured, so New England's got to be here. And then for me, I would probably put.
I think I'm going to put Seattle here next.
I was thinking Seattle as well.
Yeah, yes,
Seattle
they got the win.
from-
They got a huge win, but let's not get carried away. You don't want to get too carried away. We're not going to crown them yet. I mean, they got a huge win in week 1 against, people were talking about the Broncos like they're Super Bowl contenders. I mean, they are. But they just outplayed them yesterday or Monday. So, yeah, I think we should put the Seahawks here.
I agree with putting Seattle here, moving from 30 to 24. That's a good leap. You're moving up 6 spots. Seattle looked good. I mean, their defense looked good. Offense looked pretty decent. I think the biggest thing was their defense. Their defense was playing really good against.
Out.
Yeah, they were playing lights out against Javonte Williams, Jerry Jeudy, Cortland Sutton, Russell Wilson. It just looked well. Okay, so now that we're done with Seattle, 23, I would probably put Carolina here. Either Carolina or Tennessee. I think that they
Tennessee.
both...
I'm going to wait on Tennessee because Tennessee surprisingly didn't look terrible. I was not high on Tennessee at all in the offseason. I thought they were a one-dimensional team, but Ryan Tannehill slanged that rock. And actually, they were a passing team more than a rushing team Sunday. So I'm not going to drop them down there that low yet, but they will drop. Or they could climb depending on where the Cowboys land. But
I would, if
I'm going to
you
put
don't want to do
Washington in here.
No, because
no,
Washington
we gotta do
actually
Carolina.
played- I would say
let's do
Carolina,
Carolina.
because even though the Carolina came back, they had an ugly first half. Things weren't going their way, and they did lose. I mean, it was, and you're also playing a Deshaun Watson-less led Cleveland Browns team. They do have a good defense in Cleveland, good running attack, but yeah, week 1, I got to put Carolina here.
Yeah. We'll put Carolina. And then let's put Washington here next, I think. Yeah, they got the win, but it was against the Jags. They looked decent, but it was against the Jags. Carson Wentz still, made some questionable throws.
Yeah. 2 interceptions.
But, McLaurin, Dotson, Curtis Samuel, Antonio Gibson, they look decent. So
They look
and
good. Their defense improved.
defense, and it will only improve once. Cross your fingers once Chase Young comes back. So 2 spots. I think that's we'll put him there.
Okay. I like it. I like it. Okay. I think it might be time.
Cowboys.
I think Dallas is down here now.
All right. Let's think about it. Right. So
Because I would bet money that any of these other teams would win.
yeah. All right. Let's see, let's go through these teams and see if you would pick them to make the playoffs over the Cowboys at this moment. The Browns,
Yes.
the Steelers,
Yes.
the Saints.
Yeah.
I would. The Miami.
Yep.
I would. The Titans. I would.
Yeah, I would probably. Well, it all comes down to the fact that Dak's out. Dak's out. You're missing a lot of offensive pieces. So I would definitely put Dallas down here at 21.
That's the sole reason I'm dropping them. I mean, we've seen them without Dak. We've seen them without Tyron Smith. And now they're missing, 2 other offensive linemen. And you saw what they were with only CeeDee Lamb out there.
Yeah.
I don't think it's going to be a good season for the Cowboys, honestly.
Especially with Dak missing a good majority of the season with what's going on with his hand.
Yeah.
He just had surgery today, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
Or yesterday. And it's going to be rough. It's going to be rough for them. So, yeah, I would have to put them there. And then I would have to put Tennessee here because even though Ryan Tannehill looked good and, they had their defense didn't play poor. Derrick Henry had an okay game. As of right now, I would put the other teams above Tennessee just based off of week 1.
All right, we could do that. Yeah, I mean, that's a pretty big loss to lose to the Giants.
Yeah, the Giants we have as our 30th ranked team. And Tennessee won. It was the number 1 seed last year in the AFC. So going from the number 1 seed and then losing to the Giants, it's kind of hard. I mean, they did lose the first game against Arizona last year. So, I mean, it's not out of the ordinary. Tennessee bounced back, obviously, and then won their division. They took the number 1 seed. So I'm not too scared about Tennessee, but as of right now, I need to see more from them in my power rankings.
I mean, we could also say the same thing about the Broncos and the Cardinals. They both got. I mean, the Broncos got embarrassed tonight or Monday night. Let's just be honest. That should have been a well in hand W, and then the Cardinals got annihilated by the Chiefs. I mean, we could drop them if we wanted to all the way down here. The thing is, like with power rankings, I'm looking at potential. I still see the Titans as a fringe playoff team. But we can drop them. I'll go with you.
Just considering that, like, this is power rankings going into week 2, so we can only base it off of what we've seen thus far. That's the way that am thinking about doing the power rankings, Jake, is that it's based off of what we've seen, because we can speculate, especially with like players on paper, but until we see it on the field, it's hard to get a clear judgment on how teams should be. Because like we can assume that a team will make the playoffs, but based off of what we've seen from this year's season, it's hard to kind of analyze that in a way.
Well, I mean, sense. in that case, I didn't think the Titans played that bad. I just think I thought Ryan Tannehill played really good Sunday. He made plays. I think he was if they would have won, he would have been the MVP of that game. But we can drop them. I mean, they should have beat them. Let's be real. They should have beat the Giants. So we'll drop them to 20.
I do have to say though, when you give up 164 yards on the ground to one player,
yeah,
you got some
questions about the defense. Yep.
For me, I'm personally thinking about keeping New Orleans at 19 because even though they did win, they looked sloppy. It wasn't the greatest first half of football. You come back and win, so that's a good comeback. What are you thinking?
Yeah, no, I like it. I mean, they barely won. In fact, the Falcons should have beat them. Jameis Winston looked pretty sloppy. That defense got ran all over. Cordell Patterson, he's a 30-something-year-old running back / wide receiver. He ran all over them. Marcus Mariota hasn't been relevant since he was drafted. So, I'm okay with leaving them at 19.
Okay. You know what's funny is I realized when I was talking earlier, introducing how we're doing power rankings, I was like, oh, you win, you move up, unless certain situations where it's like based off of your performance. And then we went against that. We're new to power rankings, people. Give us a break. We'll have it down probably by week 17. Something like that.
Yeah, next season.
Next season we'll have it down.
Give us a break.
Okay.
All right, 18.
18, I'd probably put Cleveland here. They did allow Carolina to come back in the game. You know, without Deshaun Watson, it's hard to put them above teams like Cleveland or Pitt.
Damn. Pittsburgh's more.
Their defense is good, but they just lost TJ Watt, which is huge.
Yeah, but they still had other players on that team. I mean, TJ Watt, yes. I mean, there's a difference between that defense with TJ Watt and without. So we'll see if they can step up. But I'm also thinking about like offensive pieces. Because both these teams, both Cleveland and Pittsburgh, they both have Mitchell Trubisky and Jacoby Brissett. They don't really have franchise guys playing for them right now. So
I like Cleveland's offensive line more. I like their running backs I like the duo more, but I like Pitt's receivers more. But I also like Cleveland's defense more, especially with the loss of TJ Watt.
I think it doesn't matter because we're going to put the next team after the other team.
Yeah.
So it's
I say Pitt at 18.
I would personally put the other way. I would put the Browns and then the Steelers. But
okay.
we
Why?
can. I just like their receiving threats. They have an entire receiving core. The Browns do not. They have a running back who did get injured. I don't know how injured they have it. And Trubisky didn't play that bad. And then that defense was just dominant against the AFC reigning champs. Like they were dominant.
That's
the
true.
Browns
With 4 interceptions, that is very impressive. Okay, I like it. I'm good with putting Cleveland at 18.
and the Browns almost lost to the Panthers. So
That's true.
I mean, yeah. So that's why I put Pitt there.
Okay. I'm good with that. So Cleveland at 18 and then Pitt at 17. Both of them had wins. Pittsburgh was a little bit more impressive. So I like that. So for 16, I'm probably going to put Vegas here.
I'm putting the Cardinals here.
Actually,
I'm putting the Cardinals with the Colts.
That's what I was going to say. I was going to say the Colts because you tie with the Texans.
Yeah.
Which was still technically an upset because you should have beaten
been a
Houston
win.
handily.
Mm-hmm.
Especially with Jonathan Taylor, upgrade with Matt Ryan at quarterback. Defense is good. Offensive line's good. Offensive line didn't play that great, in my opinion. Texans got after Matt Ryan. So, yeah, I think I'm good with putting Indianapolis here at 16 now.
The only thing I would say, though, is the Cardinals, I think, played worse than the Colts. The Colts did play sloppy that first half, but the Cardinals played sloppy that entire game.
But
At
the
least
Cardinals
the Colts,
did play one of the best teams in the NFL as well.
True.
In Kansas City. So it's like Indianapolis losing to the Texans, who we have ranked 26, and then we'll see where Kansas City lands. But Kansas City was previously ranked 8th for us, and they're going to move up because of how dominant they were. You also have Patrick Mahomes against Davis Mills.
True. But yeah, we'll put the Colts here.
Okay.
That should have been an easy win if they're going to be a true playoff contending team. So, yeah.
So then I would be okay with putting Arizona here at 14 or at 15, excuse me.
Only one spot.
Because it is against the Kansas City Chiefs.
Yeah, I think I just like the way they got handled was just, I don't know, man.
It was ugly. I mean, we did
Yeah.
talk about in week 1 recap just how injured this team is.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that if they get players healthy for week 2, they could possibly perform better.
All right, yeah, let's put the Cardinals here then. We'll have them drop one spot.
Yeah.
All right, 14. Got to be it's got to be the Raiders, right?
Yeah, I would probably put the Raiders here, and they actually move up a spot, which is interesting because if you think about it, though, think about it this way, because I was actually talking, which is very interesting from my week 1 takeaway.
Mm-hmm.
With 6 sacks and 3 interceptions, the Raiders were only down by 5 points this game, which is weird.
And they
because
still had a chance to win.
Yeah, they still had a chance to win. So they still, even with sloppy play from Derek Carr, and they exceeded expectations in the interior defensive line. Like their interior defensive line actually played really well against the Chargers. Surprisingly, the Chargers should have been able to run all over them. Their defensive backs looked good. Nate Hobbs looked good. Is it Nate Hobbs?
How about this, Dan? Instead of having these teams switch spots, let's just keep them where they're at. I don't think it's fair for the Raiders to move up. And then
I like that. I like that.
I think we should just keep them where they're at.
So Las Vegas at 15, Arizona at 14, right?
Yeah.
Tough losses. but it's hard to move them down. Yeah, it's you can't move Vegas up for losing because their offensive line looked terrible. The Chargers rushed all over. Derwin James gets a sack, Khalil Mack gets a sack, Joey Bosa gets a sack,
and Derek Carr did not
looked
help his case at all.
Yeah, and the Chargers are one of the better teams that we have ranked. So yeah, I like it. Let's keep them there. And then for me, 13's probably Miami now, I would say.
That's yep. Moved up, what, 5 spots?
Yeah, because that was a dominant win over New England. I mean, it was at home, but it is against Bill Belichick. Questionable play sometimes from Tua. Good throws, though. Jalen Waddle looked good. Tyreek Hill looked good. Their defense stepped up. So, yeah, Miami went from 18 to 13. Move up 5 spots. I like it.
Good for you, Dolphin fans, if you're listening to this. All right, this is where it gets pretty difficult. So I have 3 teams that I want to put at 12. I got the Broncos. Oh, actually, 4 teams. I got 4 teams that I want to possibly put here. Broncos, Packers, Niners, and Bengals. And it's probably going to be the Broncos or the Niners. Both these teams should have won their first matchups. And I think I'm going to put the Broncos, honestly. I think they had more of a slop fest than the Niners. The Niners did play in inclement weather or whatever. So I'll give them that. Their defense did look a lot better. The Broncos, there was just really nothing that spoke out to me that was like, oh man, these guys are Super Bowl contenders, like how we were talking about them in the offseason.
Right.
That's just my case for dropping the Broncos down here. What do you think?
No, I like it a lot, actually, because even with the addition of...
Sorry, I have to go back on my word. The Packers played way worse. The Packers played terribly. What are you thinking?
Packers did play like absolute dog shit.
Yes. I think we need to drop them here until they can prove otherwise.
The only thing that I would say is because we obviously have Minnesota ranked higher than Seattle, right?
Seattle? Yes.
Yeah, because Denver lost to our 30th ranked team previously in week 1, going into week 1.
Well, here's the thing. The teams that I want to put in front of the Packers, I think are better than the Packers. I think right now, as far as week 1, Ravens, Eagles, Vikings, Chiefs are all better than they all play better than the Packers week 1. So that's why I want to put the Packers down here.
Okay. Green Bay fans are going to hate us. Welcome to 11th ranked team, Zach, or 12th ranked team, right? 12th ranked.
I mean, let's talk about it. Like, what about the Packers impressed you Sunday? Nothing. The only thing that
defense didn't even impress me as much as we had talked about them previously, because we were talking about how great this defensive unit was going to be. It didn't impress me. Justin Jefferson, like you said, ran freaking wild all over them. Their offense couldn't really get anything going. The only thing that looked somewhat exciting was A.J. Dillon and Aaron Jones. I mean,
that was like it was like there was nothing like there was no breakaway runs. There was nothing over 10 yards. It was all like chunks, like 7-yard plays and stuff like that. But I don't know. It just nothing about that game impressed me. They played a good Vikings team.
So if we have Green Bay here at 12, which I can get behind, it's a little controversial because a lot of people are still high on Green Bay, which I'm also high on Green Bay. I don't think that they're going to finish here. I think that they'll be fine.
No, but it's
after week 1, until we see how this offense performs with the rookies and everyone out there, it's hard. I like it. So then I would have to put Denver down here at 11.
These are my next 2, Denver and the 49ers.
Yeah, I would have to move San Francisco down as well because the other teams that I would have above them.
Both these teams, they were some of the top teams that got upset this week, or last week, and they should have beaten these teams. They should be 1-0. Instead, they're looking at an ugly 0-1. The only reason I put the 49ers above this, the Broncos, is the weather game. Though their opponent was, well, I mean, our rankings, we had the 31 and 32nd. So,
yeah.
So both these teams, I mean, should be ashamed, honestly. These are both Super Bowl hopeful teams. Not the way they played. They both had a lot of penalties. The only difference I'll give some leeway to the 49ers is the weather. It's hard to play in that weather. So that's why I'll put the Broncos and then the 49ers.
Got it. I would have to move Cincinnati next to 9.
I agree.
Because of sloppy play. Joe Burrow, unfortunately, even though he had a couple touchdowns, passed decently, Joe Mixon looked good, Jamar Chase looked phenomenal. You can't throw 4 interceptions and then expect to win ball games. And they almost did. They almost came back and won the game. However, special teams unfortunately bit them in the butt. So, yeah, I would have to put Cincinnati here at 9.
Yeah.
Okay, now we're getting to the meat and potatoes. And unfortunately, not unfortunately, but I would have to put Philadelphia here because of who they played, who they beat, and they barely beat, was Detroit. Their offense looked great, don't get me wrong, but their defense did struggle. The Detroit Lions put up a good amount of points on them. So I would have to move Philadelphia to 8. What do you think?
I 100% agree with you.
Okay. Nice. Now we're rolling. See, there's so much that goes on near the bottom teams that we were not expecting. Threw us off.
There were 5 or 6 games that no one ever thought would happen. Ever.
Yep.
Ever. If you would have bought, if you bet on those games, you're Nostradamus. You're football Stradamus. I just made that up. You like that? All right. This is where it gets exciting. The top 7. I'm putting the Ravens here.
Yeah, I would put Baltimore here because they did play the Jets. Nothing against the Jets, but I think the other teams played higher caliber offenses and just better overall teams. So I would probably put Baltimore here as well. But Baltimore did look good.
All right. I think
for me, it's got to be Minnesota at 6.
Honestly, I think it's the Rams. The Rams got manhandled.
They did get manhandled.
They got manhandled, and the Vikings manhandled the Packers.
That's true. I like that. Even though
it's controversial, but
I do predict the Rams to do better than the Minnesota Vikings when it's all said and done.
You never know, man. You never know.
This is my prediction. This is what I'm expecting. This is my opinion. I think that the Rams will have an overall better record. Mm-hmm. But based off of week 1, yeah, I would probably put the Rams here at 6. They got to move down. Then for me, it's got to be either Minnesota or Tampa Bay.
I'm gonna put Minnesota.
I like that because even though Tampa Bay did struggle on offense, I think that the roster, but then again, that offensive line for Tampa Bay.
Yeah, but I mean, well, because if we leave them there, that's where they were last week for us. So I guess we could do that. I mean, they didn't drop. They didn't really.
Tampa Bay's at 5 currently.
Yeah, so I mean, if we keep them for this week, they would stay the same. So they wouldn't drop.
No, they would go up to 4 because we only have 4 teams left. If we pick Minnesota at 5.
No, I was saying if we put the Bucks here.
Oh, keep the Bucks at 5.
Yeah. The only thing is the Vikings. I mean, they've done this before. They've impressed us early in the season, and then they piss the season away. So I'm fine. I'm fine keeping the Vikings here.
Okay.
I don't want to get too overzealous.
I'll put Tampa Bay at 4.
Yes.
So Tampa Bay at 4, they did get the win. It wasn't against the best Dallas team that we've seen in recent memory, so I don't think I can move them up too much further than that. I got to keep the Chargers here at 3 because they could have easily lost that game.
Oh my dude!
I got to put Kansas City at 2.
Dude,
and then Buffalo 1.
I thought we were gonna have a debate about this because
No.
I was putting the Chiefs at 2,
Yeah.
and I wanted to say this on our episode yesterday. I think the top 2 teams are in the AFC, and it's the Bills and the Chiefs. And I mean, the Chargers, they can be good, but they almost lost to the Raiders, like you said. So yeah, man, I'm glad we're seeing eye to eye on that one because the Chargers dominate. The Chiefs
dominated and Buffalo dominated, so they got to be the 1 and 2 in the power rankings. Like, they just looked freaking phenomenal. Los Angeles Chargers looked good offensively in the first half, and then they really picked it up defensively in the second half, but questionable play calling. I could have even dropped the Chargers, honestly, as a Chargers fan. Like, I could have even put Tampa Bay at 3, Chargers at 4, but I like keeping moving up Tampa Bay 1 because they did win. Chargers stay put, even though they did win. I cannot put the Chargers above the Chiefs or Buffalo right now because of how dominant their wins were.
Yeah. I mean, the best thing about the Chargers Sunday was Justin Herbert. The defense did step up from last year, but it wasn't dominant like the Chiefs and the Bills. Like they were playing like against high school kids. It looked like
Yeah,
at times.
it was brutal.
Yeah. So I mean, I think we got it right with the top 2. I'm interested to see what like NFL and CBS Sports, what their power rankings are like.
I guarantee Minnesota's not nearly as high in anyone else's power rankings than ours.
Yeah, I mean, this is just what we saw. I mean, we'll probably get some hate on it, but I like it. I like it because they dominated the Packers.
We're gonna get a lot of hate just for going back and forth between our picks.
So you want to go over them one last time?
Yeah, let's do it. So for the 32nd ranked team, we have the New York Jets because they got their butts handed to them.
Yep. 31, we got the Bears. I don't want to get too crazy with them, moving them up, but they did get a good win against a good 49ers team, so congrats, Chicago.
30, we got the New York Giants. They move up 1 spot. They did get the win against Tennessee. Jake and I both kind of agree that they probably should have lost, but, hey, good win. Take a win when you can get it. Saquon Barkley looked great.
29, the Jags. I mean, they fought hard against a mediocre Washington Commanders team. But, it's about where I predicted the Jags to be, kind of still the bottom echelon of the league. But, they played hard. And Trevor Lawrence improved. So they got a drop.
Yep. Detroit, they did have a tough loss against Philadelphia. They did play their butts off offensively. Defense could definitely use some improvement. So they are down here at 28.
Let's see. 27, we got the Falcons. They played really hard for 3 quarters. They should have won this game, even towards the end when they gave up the lead. Yeah, I mean, they were probably one of the teams that impressed me the most out of these bottom tier teams. So I think they stayed right where they were at last week. So yeah, they didn't get the win, but they still impressed me. So good job, Atlanta.
Houston moves up to 26. Houston exceeded expectations against the Indianapolis Colts. I think everyone kind of predicted Indianapolis to win. I don't think anyone had too much faith in Houston, but Houston impressed defensively and offensively here and there. So good job, Houston.
New England, you did not impress us at all. You looked atrocious. Your receiving threats looked atrocious. Your run game looked atrocious. It might be a long season for the Patriots. If Mac Jones is injured, I mean, yes, we have to have faith in Bill Belichick and see what he can do. But yeah, you got manhandled by the Dolphins.
Yep. Seattle moves up to 24. Impressive win over Denver. Home field advantage could have played a factor, but their defense looked lights out. Their offense, led by Geno Smith, actually looked better than expected. So Seattle moves up to 24.
23, we got Carolina. Hard-fought battle against the Cleveland Browns. But, in the end, they lost. I think they're better probably than the next team, but they still lost. So, get back on track.
Yep. Next, we have the Washington Commanders. Good win. Unfortunately, it was over the Jags. I mean, if it was against a better team, maybe they would have moved up a little bit more. But, I think Washington, they had some key players step up. Jahan Dotson looked good. Terry McLaurin looked good. Curtis Samuel looked good. Their defense looked pretty good, especially without the Predator out there. So, good win for Washington.
21. If we had some silent music or some sad music, I would play it. Cowboys fans and Cowboys. It's unfortunate circumstances for you. A lot of injuries in the first week of the NFL season. Dak Prescott. I mean, he will come back later in the year, but hopefully, I hope you can put our feet in our mouths, and I hope the defense can, actually pull out some wins. But week 1 did not look pretty, so you dropped.
All right, 20, we have Tennessee. Tough loss to the New York Giants. We still have them ranked higher than the Giants just because their roster should be better. It's a little too early to tell, but, that's a tough loss. Saquon Barkley ran all over Tennessee today, or a couple days ago, excuse me. And, Ryan Tannehill still looked good. Defense still had moments against the pass. Their offense looked pretty decent, but, tough loss. Saints,
You squeaked one out against a division rival. Sloppy play in the front, but you got it together. It's not going to be. You're not going to be able to do that against really good teams. If you're going to prove that you're a playoff team, you're going to have to play a lot better than that. But good job on the win.
Next, we have the Cleveland Browns at 18. Cleveland escaped with a win over Carolina, led by Baker Mayfield. The running attack really helped us, and the defense really helped Cleveland hang out and hold the small point differential against Carolina. Good win.
17, the Steelers. Good job, man. I was so not high on the Steelers this year, and you know what? I'm sorry, Steelers fans. I'm sorry, Pittsburgh Steelers organization. You put my foot in my mouth. You impressed me. You got after Joe Burrow. Defense was lights out. Offense didn't look too shabby either. And, you moved up, so good job.
Indianapolis is down at 16 now just because you guys tied with the Houston Texans, which is one of the bottom tier teams in our opinion. So got to do better. 16.
15, Raiders. You stayed in the same spot. I didn't want to drop you lower than some of these teams. I still think you're a good team. But I mean, you played a good Chargers team. And you almost had a chance to come back, but Derek Carr, you need to play better.
Agreed. Next we have Arizona staying put. They played one of the toughest teams in the NFL. Rough go at it. They're dealing with a lot of injuries. So we didn't think that it would be right to move you down, behind some of these other teams. I think that you guys are still a good team. You just got to get healthy, and hopefully you can turn it around against a week 2 opponent.
Number 13, we got Miami. You guys dominated the Patriots. Good job. I mean, Tua looked decent at times, ugly at times. Tyreek, Jalen Waddle, you have weapons, and then that defense looked pretty good. So, good job.
12, we got Green Bay dropping significantly from our 7th place team. You guys got manhandled by Minnesota. Aaron Rodgers is still one of the best in the business. Got a good running back duo, A.J. Dillon, Aaron Jones. Defense should play better than it did. Justin Jefferson kind of had his way with Green Bay, but I still expect them to bounce back. Aaron Rodgers always has one of those games where he just does not live up to expectation, has like a dud of a game, and then he comes back. So I kind of expect Green Bay to bounce back, but because of how bad the loss was to Minnesota, got to move you down.
11 Broncos. What happened? Man, that was probably one of the worst showcasings or like debuts of a like new team, I would say. Like it was ugly. It was week 1. Figure it out. You'll be fine. You should be fine. But if you play the rest of the season like that, it's going to be a rough season. So yeah, you dropped.
Yep. Dropping as well is the San Francisco 49ers. Tough loss against our last place ranked team. Inclement weather kind of had a factor in this one, but because there's 2 teams out there, you can't use that as an excuse. Sloppy play on the offensive line. Unfortunate injury in Elijah Mitchell. Defense looked great. Trey Lance is improving, hopefully, in the next couple games. Maybe he can get a better grip on the ball. You know, I'm still high on the 49ers. It's just a tough go at it. You know, you go to Chicago, inclement weather, injuries, and then I think the offensive line needs to improve, though. That's my biggest takeaway. And, yeah, you guys drop.
Bengals. That offensive line needs to improve. And
on
Joe
paper,
Burrow.
it did. On paper, it did. And it just didn't look like it.
Not week 1. Yeah, I mean, you got to protect your franchise. And then Joe Burrows just can't throw 4 interceptions. Like, that just can't happen. I mean, a lot of them were like, you know, obviously it's always a good play when the defense makes a interception, but that one by TJ Watt was insane. But I think they'll be fine. I just, you know, you can't win games when you're throwing 4 picks. Look at the Raiders. So improve. You didn't though.
Yep. Philadelphia is going to move on up to 8. They did have a close game with Detroit. Detroit's not one of the better teams on our power rankings, but the offense looked great. Defense needs to improve. Detroit did score a decent amount of points, but A.J. Brown is going to be a force with the Philadelphia Eagles. You know, 3 running backs get a score. Overall, good win for Philadelphia against a team that may not be the best, but always puts up a good fight.
Ravens, you dominated a team that you should have beat. Good job. Unlike some of these other, you know, Super Bowl hopeful teams, you dominated a team you should have beat. So good job. You improved.
All right, so Baltimore at 7. 6 is going to be the Rams. They absolutely got destroyed by the Buffalo Bills. Buffalo Bills are still, in our opinion, the best team in the NFL, so it's kind of hard to take too much away from that. But sloppy play, Matthew Stafford under constant duress, offensive line needs work, running game couldn't get anything going. Where the hell are the receivers other than Cooper Kupp? That's what I got to take away. Jalen Ramsey, take off the ice skates, buddy.
Wrong sport, buddy. Vikings. This is going to be the pick that we get the most hate for. I know
absolutely.
it. You know it.
Absolutely.
But they looked great, man. They looked great. I mean, you cannot deny that they did not look great, and you cannot deny that the Vikings did not dominate the Packers. Like, did you watch the game? Did you? Because they did. And you know what? I welcome the hate. I welcome the hate. So Vikings, you improved how many spots? 5 spots. So good job. In the top 5 now. Jeez. I don't think you'll stay there, honestly, but I still think you'll have a really good season.
Tampa Bay moving up 1 spot, pretty handled the Dallas Cowboys. A lot of field goals, unfortunately. Offense needs to improve. That offensive line, not particularly great. Micah Parsons got through. But that defense just looks solid, so they're going to be a top team. They got Tom Brady. They got the GOAT at quarterback, so they're a good team. Leonard Fournette looked great, so moving up 1 spot. Good job.
Chargers at number 3. Good win. You know, defense improved. Justin Herbert looks godlike as ever. Only reason they didn't improve was it wasn't really a dominant win. Like these next 2 teams. It was still a good win against a division rival, but they almost had a chance to. The Raiders had a chance to, you know, come back, and they started to, but that defense improved. So I mean, if we could raise you in our rankings, we would. But these other two teams, it's just we can't put you above them just yet. But good job on the win.
All right, number 2 is going to be the Kansas City Chiefs. Kansas City, freaking fantastic. I mean, dominant win on all phases. Defense looked good. Offense looked phenomenal. I mean, Travis Kelce, Sky Moore, Juju Smith-Schuster, just Clyde Edwards-Helaire. Everyone was getting involved. Everyone. Even McCole Hardman.
Tyreek who?
Yeah.
Tyreek who?
Yeah. Don't need him.
Yep.
Just a lot of receivers. Dominant win.
I want to apologize to Chiefs fans for doubting Patrick Mahomes. He is really, really good.
Yeah.
And number 1, as expected, we got the Buffalo Bills.
Most dominant win, in my opinion.
Yes. This was the most dominant win against
a good team.
I mean, they embarrassed the Rams Thursday night, and it was just we said it yesterday, or we said it whenever our last episode came out. But they dominated on all phases: offense, defense, special teams, coaching. It was a good win, and there's a reason why everyone is so high on the Buffalo Bills. So good job at staying at 1.
All right, guys, that's going to do it for today's episode. Thank you for listening to our week 2, or going into week 2 power rankings. So after week 1 concluded yesterday with Seattle, technically it wouldn't even be yesterday when we release this. So regardless, last Monday. Yeah, just thank you for listening. We hope you guys liked it. We'll keep putting these out there. Jake, do you have anything to add?
Yeah, if you don't like our power rankings, say something about it. Message us. We'll message back. We like talking shit. We like talking shit back and forth. It's fun. It's sports. That's what sports are about. So if you got something to say it. Talking to you. But anyways, thanks for listening. We love doing it. And like, comment, subscribe, all the good stuff. And as always, peace.